turns to shit, okay? It's true.
And we're living the dream. I'm RP Thor, and welcome to the Elders Council. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Beautiful.
Outstanding.
That's fantastic. Look at the panel we have of these fine veteran souls of the RP manosphere, fresh back from the Conference of Masculine Excellence. What a great time we had there.
Yep.
Miles, that was fantastic. We got to meet all of a lot of guys that are in our space. And I got to say, as much pettiness as we had in this space over the last few years, how refreshing that was.
Mm-hmm.
Meet everybody in person. Old scores were settled. New friendships were formed. I see a very bright future moving forward. And it was quite a whirlwind, too. On and off podcasts and speaking to all the fans. It was really fantastic. Glad to be back and glad to have a show up and running today. Guys, I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to introduce everybody and then I'll get to the topic. All right. So let's start with Mark Daniels. What are you up to? Mark's Inspiration.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on?
Not much. I just got back from Orlando, as you know. Met John down there and spent a little time with him. I got the YouTube channel, Mark's Inspiration, and what's the other one? Instagram and Mark's Inspiration. A couple books out, and father of 10. I was counting. I never actually wrote down all the kids I've had, and I got 10 of them. I didn't think I had that many. Yeah, I got 6 that I raised in the last 10 years.
Wow.
But
All right.
I've had 10 altogether. Surprised myself.
10's pretty damn good.
I'm not finished. I might have another one. Who knows? Or 2.
That's pretty cool. No doubt about it. Laurent from Tokyo.
So, thank you. I was not at the conference in Orlando. I stayed in Tokyo. I watched a lot of Fresh and Fit podcasts while you were there. So,
I'm sure you closed many deals while you stayed back from the CME that were worth many sixes of figures, if not
Actually, you're right. You're right. You're right.
If I had the choice, I'd do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Laurent. And we got some new panel members. Hopefully, there'll be future regulars jumping in and out. Miles Cunningham.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Glad to be here, guys. Glad to be here. Yes, the CME was awesome. It was a great time. My name is Miles Cunningham. I have a YouTube channel. Just search Miles Cunningham. I'm also on Instagram at Miles in the Game. And I also have a membership program called the Bad Boy Membership. It's just like how it's spelled, badboymembership.com. Go to badboymembership.com where we have 45 through 90-minute step-by-step tutorials covering a range of topics on the best way to interact with the opposite sex. So, and it's literally over 30 years of, cultivated information based on experience of the best ways to, interact with females, to develop relationships, to get sex, to, have a mouthpiece, to talk to women, whatever you want to do. You understand? So go to badboymembership.com, and that's what it is. It's your boy, Miles Cunningham.
Oh, I really like the name of that, the Bad Boy Membership. I'll tell you why. I've often asked throughout my life, are you a good man, Thor? I'm like, yeah, I'm a good man, but I'm a bad fucking boy.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that shit. All right. And Tom, or otherwise TJ Hunter, welcome. And we're really proud to have you on the cast. You were out at the CME. Definitely an active, involved member at the Conference of Masculine Excellence, and glad to have you on board tonight. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. So I have no online presence or social media presence. I'm just a leader and a mentor of men by profession and nature. So I am here by invitation. My social media presence is augmented, I guess, my non-existent one is my wife, Allie, who is at Real Femme Sapien. So she's highly involved, and I was just invited here to give my perspective as a 28-year veteran of the military, and been mentoring and leading and guiding young men for a long time.
Yeah, you have some awesome perspectives. When we were chatting at the CME, I was really impressed. I'd love to see you as a semi-regular or regular member on some of the topics that we talk about. A lot of young men need to know what you know. This is a big deal, and it's you'd be surprised. I mean, the comments that I get it's heartwarming. I don't, some of us don't do this for a living, but it's really quite fulfilling. I do it for me. This is all about me. Sorry, guys. RP Thor should be selfish, right? Exactly. So today, our topic was keeping a woman happy in a long-term relationship. Well, it's kind of rhetorical in a way because you can't keep anybody happy. It's a choice that has to be made by the individual, whether they're happy or not. Although it's really interesting because some people, think others should make them happy. This is part of the victim mentality that has invaded like a virus throughout our entire society. Oh, I'm a victim. They're not making me happy. Government's not making me happy. School's not making me happy. My husband's not making me happy. Well, if they're not making me happy, my therapist says, if they're not making me happy, I need space and go find my happiness elsewhere. I think I summed the whole problem up right there. So, if that's the case, then what do we do? Well, we have to create the environment. So as a spouse, a boyfriend, a husband, or even a man that's just dating a woman for more than a couple of weeks, you're going to have to create a castle or a frame in which she can operate so she has easier access to her own happiness. And we'll talk about that today. Tom, I want to direct to you because you did some research for this show that's fantastic. So if I ask this question on Google, what is the answer? Maybe you can share the top results on how to keep a woman happy.
Yes. So just for receipts, I'm not making this up. This is the link. There are the receipts. So I just typed this in. And we have the top 11 ways. Now I'm going to save number 10 until last. Now, just for accuracy, of course, I went through and pared this down and extracted the relevant points because the article was entirely too long. Okay, so, and Thor, if we're going too long, let me know because it is pretty lengthy. So, gentlemen, if you're out there in the world and you wish to keep your woman happy, here is the best internet advice that you will find. Treat her well. Value her opinions. Give her the chance to speak her mind. Never demean her or insult her. Never judge her. Understand and appreciate her for who she is. That's the number one. 2, remove, this is not a joke, remove the conditions for your love. Don't make her feel like she has to choose between making you feel happy and taking a job that makes her feel fulfilled. Don't make her feel like she has to choose between you and finding her attractive and the massive discomfort associated with public shaving or waxing.
Oh my God.
These are the kinds of decisions that she should know you're going to have to back her on, comma, no matter what the outcome. 3,
I love the enunciation.
Sometimes when you hear someone telling you about a problem or anything else, really, you might feel the need to just jump right in and say something or offer solutions. This is probably not what she wants. When someone tells you about their feelings, regardless of their gender, what they need is to be heard, just listened to. When they're done, they might ask you for advice. If they don't, you can ask and be offered kindly. Just acknowledge how she feels and don't take control of the conversation. Number 4, do not be a jerk. Now, something that I inferred in this was the implication is you're a jerk.
Exactly.
So don't be a jerk. Even if you did something that you feel is normal, like looking at a pretty waitress, and your girl gets mad at you, you still have to realize that that action hurt her feelings. Whether you cheat on her or not, the burden of doubt is heavy. Yeah, that's competition.
Okay, stop right there. I gotta say, so being a normal red-blooded human male is bad, according to that list. If you want your woman to be happy,
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
carry on, soldier.
It gets worse. 5, never take her for granted. Appreciate everything she does for you and let her know that you appreciate everything that she does for you. Now, my commentary on that when I read that was, no, that's what men want from women. Yeah. All right. Never assume that she's stuck with you or think that just because she loves you, you don't have to work to deserve her anymore.
Oh, killing me.
Here we go. You can get away with, this is not a joke, John. You can get away with letting yourself go physically, but you should never let yourself go emotionally. The second you start taking her for granted is the second she starts looking at other guys. Yeah, no kidding, right?
Well, at least they're honest there.
Yeah. Don't be a burden. This is my favorite, and I think the worst. All right. No, it's not the worst one. It is pretty bad. The fastest way to make a woman lose interest in you is she doesn't want you to be another child to take care of. I can get on board with that one.
Mhm.
Take care of yourself financially. Yeah. Help out around the house. Yeah. No, that was the part in this one. Help out around the house. I'm like, no. I mean, yes. You know, the
If you meant
outside work.
like mow the lawn, chainsaw
Yeah,
the
right.
trees, cut the wood for the fires, okay.
I assure you that's not what they mean by the rest of this article. All right. 7, be loyal. Women that you're with aren't impressed by you being smooth with other ladies. Yes, they are.
We're gonna have to talk about that.
All right. Spend time with her more than any other woman. Don't look at nor comment on any other women, and make her happiness your priority.
Of course.
You should also stop putting on the show of attracting other women. Do not wear clothes that are designed to appeal to other women. Just wear what you know she likes. Number 8, pay attention. Pay attention to when she says what she wishes something was or talks about wanting to do something. You should also pay attention to how she chooses to spend her time. I don't know what they're getting at with that, but
This
that's
is
just one of the points.
betaization by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. All right. Be her partner in life. This is number 9. Help her solve her problems. Didn't they just say don't help her solve her problems?
Yep.
All right. Help her solve her problems. If she wants help and you're able, don't just solve them for her and take control of the situation. This is the worst one. Yeah, this is the bad one. So help her with something. Okay. This might mean taking on some extra chores around the house while she deals with bigger problems at work. Another example is taking one of her family members out to do something fun.
Oh my!
For example,
Listen, I can't listen to much more of this. I really can't. I'm honest. I just
He's gonna get a nosebleed.
there's only 2 more.
okay. Go ahead.
So the example that they give is taking her little sister to go shopping at the mall.
Oh Jesus!
How old's the little sister? Is she old enough
All
to
right.
go to the store?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to leave number 10 for last. And then number 11 is remember, women feel differently about sex. Quote, it's not about you, unquote, meaning the man. When your woman does not want to have sex, we take it personally. And gentlemen, number 10. Now, we just went through these other 10 points. This is actually the 11th point, which is all about her, right? Do everything for her. Become something for her. Wear what she wants. Okay. The final point. Be yourself. Let her see your vulnerabilities and the things you don't like about yourself. They will only. And they end it with, these will only make her love you more.
Jeez.
Please stop.
Well, that was one of our first shows. We ended on the vulnerability thing. You know,
TJ, thank you very much. Now I need shoes and chocolate. You transform this into a comedy show.
Yo. Hey, shout out to you for even reading that shit. Like, seriously.
well, that's most excellent. You guys have any comments on what he just read? I mean, I could go on and on, but just like the vulnerability thing, I'll say one thing about it. If you go back to our first episode, we did an entire episode. I think it was our longest episode and most popular, where I went down and we dissected where vulnerability became popular as a male, as a thing for males, and actually got inculcated into the American Psychological Association as a treatment. It's from one person. Her name was Brene Brown, and she wrote a book, and she did a TED Talk in 2010. That one person went to all the universities and gave talks on male vulnerability, and it spread like wildfire because it fits right in with basically the feminist movement to weaken it. And yet here's the thing. It's formulated and so excellently written that we even have guys that are in the purple pill, kind of the slightly into the red pill space, adopting it, like Mark Manson. He's adopted it as well. Some of the other guys had, and we had some of those guys actually talking about being vulnerable. But what it really means is you're a weak ass puss. And that's a surefire way to start drying her up downstairs over time. Not a
Floor,
good formula.
if I might, a caveat. So I'm a medical professional. That's what I do. I practice medicine. So I have a copy of the APA on PDF because I have to talk to my colleagues occasionally. And it's so egregious that I have to have it highlighted of the terrible points. Like, for example, so the phrase that they use in that document is traditional masculine ideology. What's the translation? That's toxic masculinity. And it says in that document, which are now the practice guidelines, things like assertiveness and competition are now toxic.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody want to make a quick comment? And then I'm going to put Tom on the spot because let's hear from, once you guys talk, I have something special to show Tom and see what his wife has to say about this.
I'll make a quick comment. I've made the mistake of trying some of that in my relationships, and it didn't work out too well.
You know, this is something that I've always said that the best way to invest in a woman is to invest in yourself as a man. That's the best way to invest in any woman, because what you're looking for is a woman that is interested in the highest version of you. You understand? I feel that as a man, you know, I always look at the analogy of being, you know, when the oxygen masks come out the top of the plane, the ceiling, they tell you even before you put your child mask on, you put your mask on first. Right. Yep. And that's because you need to make sure that you have oxygen so you can be optimal so you can actually help other people. You can be optimal so you could be, you know, right in your mind, in your spirit, and you can execute as a man. So if I'm trying to be the best I can be and make sure that my family is secure and my woman is secure and my life and my wife is secure and my wife is actually happy, then I'm looking for a woman that is focused on me being the best version of myself. And she will help me be the best version of myself as I pursue the highest version of myself. And that's the true happiness. All of the stuff in that document, man, it's super counterintuitive, because I can understand why a woman would feel like that in a moment. But logically, the man that document is describing is not going to make a female's vagina wet. It's not. It's going to make if I take your little sister shopping, you're going to lose respect for me subconsciously. Then you're going to start talking to me like I'm some freaking idiot. You're going to start talking to me with no respect whatsoever. You're going to start dealing with me with no respect forever. And then I'm going to start seeing clues and you know, and little indicators of the fact that you're actually interested in other men whose testosterone levels are much higher than mine. Why? Because I'm busy taking out your little sister to Forever 21 to go shopping. You see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
No, it's preach it, brother. I mean, and the one thing I've often pondered on too is, why do we get these things? We get a lot of them. The social media thing seems to be an amplifier of our egos in some way, and we're seeing, you know, some of these social constructs that have been adopted by modern women being amplified. And I think a lot of it is, this is my opinion, is due to a very deep level of not being fulfilled. Mm-hmm. They're not pursuing what the universe has created us for in the way that they gave us our talents to do it. And when I say that, I mean between the feminine and the masculine, we have roles they're loosely played, and there's variation, but it's still played in that arena of masculine and feminine to be successful. That's right. Really where, you know, nobody can truly be happy, but we can be fulfilled with the lives that we lead. And if nobody has another comment, I'd like to hear, I'm going to share, Allie blew up on this because she does not sound like the top Google search for happiness. And this is what I'm talking about. I think that the ladies really don't understand what makes them happy and fulfilled. And all they're doing is repeating what the education system has done for them. You ready for this, Tom? This should be fun.
Let's do it.
Quick.
Okay. Booyah, America.
That's okay. She's a sweetie, man. So we'll start with the first one here. Let me optimize for audio. If there's any problem with the audios, chat, let me know. Okay. Here we go. Let's go ahead and get this one started. Is it one?
Allie, are you effing kidding? Victim blaming? Obviously, she's never dealt with a narcissist. If she did, she'd know they don't show their true self right off the bat.
Well, yes and no. At some point, you do have to wonder why you're attracting these people. And I have dealt with narcissists. She doesn't know anything about me. The reality is I was born in a high-risk situation. I was physically assaulted for over a decade. So, oh yeah, girl, I know a lot about narcissists. But I at least was able to learn from it and get a better man. Why can't you do that?
I love my wife.
Allie, it's sad how loving her husband and marriage offends so many people. Why are you being so triggering?
I think that just really speaks to the amount of women that aren't marrying their first choice if they ever get married, but they're marrying their second choice if they do. That's awful. That's disgusting. I wouldn't be happy either. I would hate me too. And there's women out there, they're going to be sleeping alone tonight.
Tomorrow.
There's a couple more.
Allie, this is not good advice. 1 in 20 people are narcissists. I wish that on no enemy.
My question is, how bad do you have to suck at dating that you end up with the 1 out of the 20 people that is a narcissist? If this stat is true, because women like to make numbers up. So if this is true, like what's wrong with you? What about the other 19? If you guys want to disagree with me some more, I want to hear it. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's learn a couple things from one another. You can call in 4 p.m. EST Thursday on Saucecast. I want to hear from you. And if you agree with me, I want to hear that too.
I have a great clip from that too. It's about 30 seconds.
Allie, what do you say to the women that say they cannot be submissive?
I mean, I get that, but oftentimes these women don't know how quarrelsome they are. Like, they don't understand that a lot of people that they hang out with actually don't want to spend time with them. They don't understand that they're the last person to get an invitation and they're getting invited out of obligation.
Out there.
Because you have to understand, it's not just the domineering part of the romantic relationship. It's like, you want to be that feminine woman that people fight over to invite to the holiday party. And sometimes that's just not you. And no one's going to tell you because we have a very feminine culture that puts women on a pedestal. But I'll tell you.
Oh, I cut it off, but that's the gist of the first one, guys. I gotta say that's amazing because it's so true, and the quarrelsome part, just the ability to get along and be agreeable. There's so much, even in my social interactions, for the most part, when I socialize, I kind of screen for this. Do you guys? I kind of screen for agreeability when I first introduce myself to both men and women. So I try to avoid it. But in the first, when I get them talking about something they're passionate about, I try to notice, and this is what I try to teach on my little community too, the Dragon Ship, is how agreeable they are. Not so much in that I want to argue with them, but some people just communicate through a debate style.
Yeah.
And it's draining.
Yeah.
You guys find it draining to have to constantly, I don't know how.
Right. They're just naturally contrary for absolutely no reason. Like, even if they see the logic, they can't even, they wouldn't have the grace to say, well, I see your point. However, such and such and such, like, I like to see it from this angle as well. It's like, well, you're just wrong and I'm right. And that's it.
Yeah. It's rather be right than be happy.
Exactly.
It's so crazy. Now, Tom, your wife had some amazing statements there. I guess this kind of blew up on, is it TikTok? Correct? Because those are TikToks that were imported into Instagram. On I just want to go ahead and plug Pearl, just Pearly Things Instagram, and of course Real Femme Sapien on Instagram as well. I'm sorry, I don't know their TikTok, but it kind of blew up and it made your week a little bit busy, huh? I'm sure she got
very, very pleasantly busy. Yes. I can't thank Pearl enough for doing that, because Pearl's just a wonderful woman. She's animated, she's intelligent, she's on the right path and trajectory, I think. And she was just doing what she does to have some fun. So it was an unexpected busyness. Yeah. So the original upload, when I saw it last 5 days ago, so 1.4 million.
Wow.
And then the mirror got 2.5 million. And then the hate started. And the one that kicked it off is when she said, was asked, what do you do for a living? And she said, I love my husband and I'm submissive. And that sent the feminist into a triggered nuclear rage.
I think I have that on the second one. Yeah, that is pretty crazy. We can watch the second one if you guys want. You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. bring up the share, guys. I love it because she did set the internet on fire so much for sure. It's just too good. Here we go. It's off. It is running. Here we go.
So, Allie, the men want to know, where can they find a woman like you?
Oh, this is a good one too.
Oh, I mean, I'm a statistical anomaly, but for the most part, you can find good, wholesome women away from the cities and in the country, especially if they come from a two-parent household.
Is there like places they can look?
Yeah, the entire Midwest, all that.
So, do you think like churches, what specific places can they go to meet women?
Church is a complicated thing because it's produced a lot of beta-type males, but I would say that there are feminine women in church. You just have to be careful if they're not delusional.
Okay. So, Allie, the men.
So yeah, where is the one that
Allie, this girl says that she prays you find yourself and become confident and you're.
I thought I had it in here. Maybe I didn't.
if you scroll through them, I could probably recognize it.
Here we go.
Let's see. Well, we don't have to. We can keep the conversation going.
It's a static video. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so essentially,
if I lose it, then it's tough. Yeah. If I lose
it's a static video that he recorded of himself going through this. Yeah.
I had to, because I'll lose the internet sometimes, and I don't want the show integrity just drop. You've probably had that too. If you start doing a live capture, makes it quicker.
So you were talking about agreeableness, and does anyone know? Does everyone know who Brian Cox is? He's that physicist guy that comes on Joe Rogan.
Big bank.
Yeah. So okay, this is one of the smartest human beings on the planet, right? By rights, he could be arrogant if he wanted, but he's like one of the most agreeable people, and he's always couching his statements saying, "Well, it could be this, it could be that. What's your perspective?" So I just model him in my head when I say, "Okay, here's one of the smartest human beings on the planet, and he's agreeable." And so
that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
I love what you said. I'm sorry I don't have the one in the black dress. I thought I had it. I did so many of them in a backup state because it's easier to get through on these.
I think when a woman's being disagreeable, she's trying to dominate the conversation or dominate the man is what she's trying to do. She's trying to express her masculinity in the situation, whatever that may be.
Right.
And I'll expound on something Miles said too about women being happy or being the man. We have an expression. Obviously, you can't transmit something you haven't got. So if the man is not fulfilled, and we'll say happy, his happiness, I believe, comes from fulfillment, from pursuing his purpose or his goals, whatever. And then when he's there and he's not so focused on her, she's the happiest she's going to be. Exactly. If he's unhappy and trying to focus on keeping her happy, like that thing that you read said, she's going to be miserable and he's going to be a bitch. That's the way it is.
Yes.
I want to say, you see, something that I've learned about the nature of a woman is that they take they take a seed and then they enhance it, right? We see that through procreation, right? We give them a one cell organism, and then it goes into their body. It meets with their one cell organism, and then it enhances over 9 months, and she brings forth an entire brand new human. It's a beautiful thing, and and women are very important and very they're important to the process, right? So I don't want anybody seeing me on here thinking otherwise. I love women. You understand me? I love women, period. However, it's a woman's nature to enhance. And what I notice is that there are some women who will take one or two stories of some women, being devoted to a man and maybe the relationship not working out. And then she has a divorce situation and she's quote unquote out on the street with no support, no money. And she gave everything to this man and she never went for a college degree and she never developed her own career. And now she's destitute. And what women do is they'll take those one or two anomaly stories and they will blow it into this huge, like it's the norm. They will act like it's the norm for every relationship, because even in one of the TikToks, a lot of the people started saying that, oh, wait and see when you and your husband break up. Like they started to say that to Allie on, as a response. You understand what I'm saying? And the sad part is that because of their, emotional nature and because of their nature to enhance things, they take these, one or two stories of failed marriages and they use it to be the norm for everything. And so it's like women develop this hive mind to distrust men all of a sudden. And no matter, so it's like you meet them thinking that you're a good man, and then you read those 10 things of how to make them happy. And then you forget, some men are weak or too weak, and then they forget their number one focus, which should be them. And then they try to make them happy. And then it's a fool's errand. And that's when you have that's when you actually have the unsuccessful marriages, when you stop focusing on yourself as a man.
It's so true. That is so true. Complacency for a man. I mean, it's kind of like, I'm going to really date myself, but when we were young, we used to have this merry-go-round in this park where I was at. It's called Fairmont Park. And it was an old one from the 30s, right? And you could ride on it. And here's the thing. There was this little apparatus that had rings in it. And as you'd sit in the horses, you'd roll around, you'd reach out and you'd grab the ring. You ever hear the term grab the brass ring?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'd get silver ring, nothing, throw it down. Next one. But the person that got the brass ring, they got a free ticket to ride again. A lot of guys, when they score that woman, I got the free ticket. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to spend any money. I'm done. I got poon on tap. What more could a guy want, man?
Right.
Woman, I got beer in the fridge, poon on tap. I'm done. I can play some Call of Duty. Gee, how much better is it get? Right. Next thing you got dad bod, and you don't think those girls don't notice that crap?
Right.
And what's their only recourse? I mean, they can't tell you directly because they're emotional speakers, most of them. It's very difficult because even though they're feeling something, putting it into words that make sense to men that are logical thinkers is rather difficult. And I understand it. For us, describing emotions and connecting emotionally is a bit of a chore sometimes. For us, it could be done. Of course, there's plenty of us that are empathetic, but you get in that situation, then you ride. I mean, there's such a thing as right after the first child, a year, 2 years after that, things are really south, dead bedroom, 7-year itch. It happens again at 14 to 19 years and once again at 21 years. So there is a need for men to understand that a woman's love, as much as we want it to be idealized and fairy tale, she loves me for me. The reality is she loves you for your potential and your ability to maintain it.
Exactly.
Because the only woman that's ever going to love you, the only woman that's ever going to love you like that is your mother, if you were fortunate enough to have a loving mother.
Right.
And that's not a guarantee. Lauren, you'd like to jump in?
Yeah, Lauren. Yeah.
So you were talking about the need to be right. In Japanese, we call it seitoka. So in my profession, I always tell people, you can be right or you can trading. You can be right or you can make money. You got to choose.
Be right or make money.
So you can be loved or you can make money. Oh, you can be loved or you can be right, but you can't have either. And to come back to your point, you're 100% right. Like in 2019, I really had a difficulty in my marriage, and I focused on the wife. I said, I'm going to turn this thing around. I'm going to transform it. It was 3 years of misery.
Yeah.
Right.
But then I focus on myself, and I'm on point, and I wake up and I do my shit, and guess what? Things get better.
Yeah, and of course, men today will reach out to Google, and it's all curated. Knowledge now that you find that way is very curated for you, even on social media, and it can lead you, down a really tough path, of misery. There's a business that's all about divorce, about relationship problems. And it's been perpetuated, I think, almost on purpose as a master plan. But
it's almost like it logically makes sense to someone who's looking for answers and knows nothing about women's nature. Right. Because you would think, well, if I treat a friend like that, like you can treat a man in certain ways, like in business, I can be go out of the way to help him and he helps me and it goes back. But women are different. When you give too much, the disrespect starts coming.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're a complete jerk to them, but whenever even if you're not doing it to get approval, they somehow pick up on it like you're doing that and going the extra mile to supplicate to them. Something like that. Is
kind of like a spoiled child in some regards. I hate to go there, but it is easy to understand.
Right.
No doubt about it. Now, this narrative of other people making us happy. I want to play one more that's going to actually be the last video I'm going to play. But this is Allie, and it's Pearl, and it's Coco. And Coco's going to give the perspective that the majority of women have, and I'm sure this is what came after her, Tom. You can just see kind of the underlying anger and dissatisfaction with the truth, because that's
You mean Coco?
Yeah, Coco. And she's going to talk about long-term relationships. Now, here's the thing: she is not in one. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that real quick, and then we'll all have
mistress at best.
So here we go. Here we go with Coco. Hope I don't get a hit for this. This should be good though. Okay, here we go, guys.
Let's say if you end up very unhappy, or maybe you're just like, something can just switch, maybe you can just like, oh, I don't like him anymore. Would you stay married to him for the rest of your life? You're not sexually attracted. You don't like, he's just not funny anymore. You just don't like him anymore.
Do we have kids?
Yeah.
If we have kids, it's not about me anymore.
So you would rather see your children grow up in a home where parents are sleeping in separate bedrooms. They don't talk. They don't hold hands. They don't kiss.
I would rather see my kids grow up in a home where they're at every statistical advantage rather than disadvantage. Because if the father is out of the home, that you put that kid at risk.
Why?
Because life is not easy. Like it's you might think, as a woman, like, oh, my kid's gonna be fine. Your child is just another human being in this world. The world is gonna show your kids that they're at a disadvantage.
And we were talking about it because we were talking about mental health the other day.
Yes.
And I was saying, like, mental health isn't a thing in my family. Like, we're all just happy people. And she says to me, that's because you had both parents in the home.
Let's say if you end up very unhappy, or maybe you're just like, something can just switch, maybe you can just like, oh, I don't like him anymore. Would you stay married to him for the rest of your life? You're not sexually attracted. He's just not funny anymore. You just don't like him anymore.
Do we have kids?
Okay, that was really it. Did you notice
this chick is bitter?
Happened. Just something happened.
This chick is bitter. She's
yeah, but there's something really important here when you think about it. If you did your due diligence, and you found her attractive, and she found you attractive, and she was serving up her best with you, this can happen. And I've seen it happen. I've counseled many men on this, because what happens is they kind of stop caring about their attractiveness, and they lose attractiveness, and the woman doesn't even know, but to her, it's a switch. Guys, you need to understand this. If you're not doing your best and you're not fulfilling your burden of performance, this is why I say I am so thankful for a woman's hypergamy, because it reveals the truth, and that gives us solid evidence on how we can solve this problem. It is not that she loves me forever or is idealized, sick or not. That's not the case. I must be my best at all times, whether I'm injured or not, for her to have me lead that relationship, and she won't have the switch flip.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're leading, she's following. If you stop leading, she don't have anybody to follow, so she's going to look for somebody to follow. It's not going to be her.
That's a switch. Now all of a sudden, you guys hear this. They hear this. I'm not happy. Yeah. I need space. You're looking at guys that need space.
The clock's ticking.
Yeah, the clock is ticking, because women are not meant to be alone. Men can handle it far greater. And on top of that, you'll also hear things like, I think I need counseling, or I'm depressed, nondescript depression. There is depression, but many times it's depression, anxiety. And, you're doing your best. You're doing all those things for her, and it's not making you more attractive to her. That's where, when you come to this space, guys, we focus on what makes you attractive to women. And for many men, it's a very hard pill to swallow, because you have to give up on the idea that she loves you like you wanted her to love you, where in reality, she is really loving you objectively for your burden of performance, which you have to perform for every day of your life if you want it to last.
There's a reason she got that way. And if you look at her and think, well, yeah, she needs help, she needs this, you need to look back at yourself and say, hey, how did I allow it to get this way? Otherwise, it's going to get worse. I don't care how many psychologists she goes to or what medication she takes. And most guys don't want to do that. They want to blame.
Right. You see, I want to say that. See, the thing about always striving for, the better. And shout out to Donovan, because he talked about this as well, like the evolution of your identity as a man, right? The evolution of your masculinity, right? Where there is a certain honesty about thriving for the next level of who you are. Like, if, for any of my Dragon Ball Z fans, like we got to strive for that next, like, that Super Saiyan level. Like we gotta strive for that. And there's an honesty to it. And truth be told, there are times when you reach that next level, the woman that you're with has to make a decision, because honestly, she may have been with you for the ride up to a certain level. And then when you reach another level, she kind of gets uncomfortable. And you have some women who have, you know, certain things deep down inside them where they're actually maybe intimidated or resentful of the fact that you're moving to that next level. But what's most important is the honesty. It's the honesty of your journey. It's the honesty of your path. Because check this out. Even if she decides, oh shit, this new Super Saiyan level, I can't deal with it, there will still be a level of respect. There will still be a level of, well, I'm making a decision, but the motivation behind my decision to not be with you anymore is honest. It has nothing to do with, like, you know, any type of resentment from dishonesty or the fact that you lied. It's like, listen, since I met you, you've been striving for this Super Saiyan level, and now you've reached it. Now I decide that maybe it's not right for me. But the fact of the matter is, it's honest. You understand? And as men, I think that's the most important thing. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to let these women know that this is really who we are. You understand? Like me, like I'm the type of guy, I deal with multiple women, and every woman that deals with me knows that. So there's no surprises. There's no, you know, hidden agendas. There's nothing. And when a woman gives herself to me, she gives herself to me with that knowledge, and it's beautiful. You understand? And she gets to stay as long as she wants to stay. You understand? So the honesty of your journey is the most important thing, because at the very end of it, even if the journey ends before it's supposed to, death do you part and all that other stuff, even if the journey ends, there's always a level of respect because it came from a place of honesty.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. I gotta say, what you just said at the very end is the most important recognition I want to send to both men and women out there. Yes. And it's what I teach in my long-term success relationship success course is all relationships are temporary.
All of them. Yep.
That's really pisses some people off because it shatters the fantasy.
Yep.
I mean, you can make them last for a long time, but it's always going to be temporary. People die, people pass, things change. You have to realize even our best friends, our male friends, they are somewhat temporary in nature. And guess what? Our existence is somewhat temporary in nature. So as
as you get older, and your friends pass and different. And as you know, Thor, your pet, it passed. I mean,
oh yeah,
everything passes.
Yeah. You do, and it's tough. You can acknowledge those feelings. I mean, I held a little family pet from 18 years and petted her as I put her out. You know, and that's a hard thing to do. Yeah, I shed a tear or two, but nobody's seen it. It's just me,
right?
And her, you know, but it's all temporary. But you know what? I'll have a hell of a war dog in Valhalla.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd like to touch on something. So we've been talking about the switch that gets flipped.
Yes,
in females'
the
brain.
switch, important.
So what I was looking up here, I'll go over that in a second. Now, I think a lot of this is rooted in evolutionary biology, that when we start behaving less masculine, with less strength. With less
MLD in the house. Come join us, John.
Heck yeah. So that switch, I like this definition, and it's peevish. And here's what I think is happening when that evolutionary biology switches, because we get off our purpose. She becomes querulous in temperament or mood, perversely obstinate, marked by ill temper. So they become peevish. I just like that word because that describes it.
Exactly.
I love that. What do you guys feel about that?
I mean, it's all temporary. Life is temporary. Everything that's in this life is temporary. Money is temporary. You know, resources are temporary. You know, so you enjoy it while you have it. You make it last as long as you can, but know that it's all temporary. Yes. Like, I mean, the fairy tale of, you know, forever till death. I mean, that was something beautiful to aspire for. But I mean, if you look at real life, that's not reality. You know, people die, friends die. You know, I got a call today that somebody that I knew died. You know, young person, and it's just like it's everything is temporary, and we can't be invested in temporary things. You guys remember the movie Heat?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys remember this line: never get yourself into something that you can't walk out of in 30 seconds or less when the heat is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got to take that and apply it to life. You know, and it might be harder in some areas than others, But that's the mentality that you have to have. Never get too attached to anything that could be taken away from you or that you could lose. You know, that to me is something powerful that every guy needs to understand. Rich Cooper says it. She's not yours. It's just your turn. Okay. That again solidifies the fact that relationships are temporary, you know, and a lot of guys get hung up on the fact that she's mine. No, she's not yours. You know, you don't possess her. You don't control her. You know, nothing is permanent in this world.
Right.
No, it makes it valuable though. And it works best when you have that sort of relationship as you acknowledge that it's temporary, but it's here now and you're leading it. It definitely gives it value. And that's what's really hard for a lot of the blue pill guys to adapt to.
Laurent, I think you got something.
So I'll quote the native religion here. I'm Zen Buddhist. I'm Rinzai Shu, and two religious quotes. The only constant in life is change. That goes back to everything's temporary. And the second one is pain is happening. Suffering is optional. So attachment to this is forever, all the attachment is the source of our suffering. And getting rid of that takes away the pain. It doesn't take away the pain, but it makes us more easy to accept. Right. And Glenn, welcome into the house. And MLD, welcome to the house.
Sorry guys for running late. I was catching that Top Gun movie with my old lady. So you know,
how was it?
You know what? It is the best movie out there right now. Like if you want to talk about a masculine movie that has masculine principles, you got to go watch Top Gun Maverick. Like it was the best one out there.
Nice.
Good. That's good to hear. Everything's so woke today.
Yeah.
No, it really crushed anything that's out there right now. If you look at the box office numbers, they did 143 million within 3 days.
Nice.
Destroying everything out there from the wokies. All you wokies, you know, you need to take a note. Time to go back to the masculine world.
Hey, The Northman was a pretty good movie too, as far as you know, masculine story.
That was a great movie. I thought I saw Thor in it.
Yeah, right. Thor was in the background somewhere.
It's based on an actual one of the sagas you're seeing. It's the one that Hamlet was based on. Hamlet. The real twist to that they didn't play up. And I understand why they wouldn't have played it up in the movie. But Hamlet is the son of the king, right? And his queen is a spoiler alert, everybody. Go ahead and tune out if you don't want to know on the Northman. But the queen actually has been having this affair with his brother, and his brother murders him. The son Amleth flees being killed because he's with the king, and he's the second heir, right? Well, the real hardcore reality is that the woman set up the murder so her lover could come in. And the real sad case is he's on a lifetime vengeance to save his mother and kill the killer of his father. But the real twist in that saga is he's actually the son of the uncle that killed his dad. She is actually a low class woman here.
He's on a
evil. And he ends up killing her, all of his siblings, and the other guy as they kill each other at the end. Just
you know, it's interesting. It's interesting that you bring that up because I was on a podcast with a buddy of mine named Haran, and he hits this point that men need to stop pedestalizing their mothers and look at them as hypergamous women as well. And as soon as you do that, you could approach women differently in the mindset. Because what men tend to do is they pedestalize their mother as like this angel, right? This unlike Mother Teresa type of image, and thinking that all women operate like Mother Teresa, their mother, and they end up waking up with a rude awakening that's not how the women are, and they feel like their mother like misleads them in a sense, and it's like men need to detach and detach that what is that pedestalizing, that the spirit empowering of their mother, and look at their mother as a hypergamous woman. And when they do that, they open up their view on women's behavior and hypergamy. And it was really interesting. It was a great conversation that he brought up. So give a shout out to my buddy Haran for that. It was good. It was really good.
I'd like to make 2 points on first on the movie, I don't watch much TV, but I might want to watch that. There's a movie from what it sounds like you guys are telling me has a lot of what they say is toxic masculinity, but yet it's a box office hit, huh?
Exactly.
What's ironic about that? The other point is when Glenn was talking about something, I lost it. I'll come back with it later. But the movie thing is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Oh, the mother. I got it. I'm sorry. My mother. You talk about your mother. Okay. Don't think that I didn't think my dad was an invalid for the last 4 years of his life, and my mom and I took care of him at home. Now, if she'd have put him in a home, that would have cut her income in half. Now, I think my mother loved my father, but that was something now, would she have done that if it wouldn't have cut her income? Now, that sounds, some people have heard me talk about that, would think that was terrible that you even thought such a thing. But it's just common sense. Was that her and her hypergamous nature? I think it probably had something to do with it because he was, they made good money from retirement, both of them together. So with him going to the nursing home, that would have cut her income in half. She still would have survived, but not the same. So it's just something to think about when someone was talking about us looking at our mothers as some angel or whatever. They're human too. One time they were out screwing around just like the girls you're running with.
Right.
Yeah, and I might have been with a few.
Yeah.
Just a few, Thor. Just a few.
We must use discretion here.
Let's keep it clean, boys.
I tend to think hypergamy is hypergamy is something, instead of it, a lot of guys look at it as female nature, but I really think that it should be, I think men should look at it more like inspiration, because if I'm always becoming the next better version of myself, if every year I'm making more money, if every year I own more real estate, if every year I'm doing something better than I did before, then if my woman is smart, if she's smart, she'll have no other recourse but to stick with me. You understand? And even if she leaves, I'm still looking at her like, wait, you're losing because I'm only going to get better. You understand?
That's an excellent point. I agree 100%.
Hypergamy is like push-ups.
I want to jump in there on that very point. Hang on, Glenn. We'll get right back to it. I want to do this because I want you guys to really engage here. Today we're talking about how to keep a woman happy in an LTR, and we're talking about hypergamy, but it's much more than that. I agree with you. There's something here. I want to read a couple things from my video lecture just to get that stimulated. How do you, if you want to make them happy, here's what you have to do. Realize that you cannot actually make a person happy, but what you can do is you need to create a dominant masculine presence. That's the best form of long-term relationship insurance.
Right.
You need to hone your problem-solving skill set. This is a lifetime investment. You need to learn to see the big picture. This is what's called playing 3 steps ahead of your mate as a way to provide guidance. Also, learn to recognize female nature. Realize she's subject to these laws, but does not have to act on them. Okay. Accept that she's a human being, will have many flaws, just like you.
Right.
Also, don't solve all of her problems, just the strategic ones. This requires learning, empathetic listening. And then this is the killer of them all. Guys, you want them happy, you want to stick with them, complacency on your part, loss of attraction. After an LTR has been in place for a while, the number one killer, guys, is genuine loss of genuine desire. It sets the stage for the loss of the right. And then when contempt sets in, you're in deep, deep doo-doo.
Yeah.
Also, test your attractiveness level, and you need to test it socially, yet covertly or passively. You must make her aware of the fact that you are attracted to other females of her status or greater. That's it. That's what you have to do.
It's
so what do
essentially
you guys all
opposite.
think about that?
I was just going to say it's essentially opposite of everything we read at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right. Pretty much.
It really is. And that's why I love what you did, Tom. You're such a great addition. Well, what do you think of what I just listed out there? As a guidance.
I can comment.
Yeah.
So my wife has a video titled "Why I Am Openly Hypergamous," and she talks exactly about what the panel is discussing. She's much younger than me. I mean, the second most thing that she gets hate for is the age gap. She's 23 years younger than me. Do you think she'd be with me if I made her the mental point of my origin? It's exactly the opposite. The reason that she continues to find me attractive is I'm constantly looking for new avenues of discipline and focus and purpose and advancement. And I'm going to continue to do that.
Excellent. Well, let's go around table. We'll do it Miles next, then Glenn, then Laurent and Mark, because I know Mark's gonna. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just do Mark because you got to leave in 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. What do you
Let's
want me
go
to?
Mark first, and then we'll get the other guys.
Okay. What do you want me to comment on?
On the list I just put out as far as bringing happiness. Obviously, a woman's happiness is tied to a man's happiness. So the list I just kind of put out from one of my lectures was what you have to do in order to at least ensure her investment in a long-term relationship.
Okay. What I've found out I've messed up and I've done the right thing and the wrong thing, so I suffered the consequences. But when the women were the most happy with me was when I had options. Sometimes when I had other women, I didn't rub it in their face, but they knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when they could walk out that door and I would say, go ahead. Now, I may not have wanted them to leave, but they knew I'd let them go and not cry or chase after them. And I had a purpose. Either I was boxing or doing triathlons or like what I'm doing now with the YouTube. I had something that was more important than they were. In my case, it would be, let's say, God first, my purpose and mission, goals second and third, and her fourth on the list. Now that's contrary to what people, that article that Tom read says. But that is when they're the happiest, the most loyal, and you can trust them more then. Opposed to that's the other way, where I tried to live somewhat like what Tom wrote there, and it just doesn't work. I've tried that, and it doesn't. The disrespect, the disdain, and then eventually they start cheating, and it just gets worse and worse. So I've experienced both sides of that coin, and the first side where they're loyal and can't get enough of you is much better than the second side.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Okay,
I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Hey, it was great meeting you guys.
Same here, guys. Same here. Be safe, man.
Yeah, my
Take
pleasure.
care, Mark.
See you next time.
See you later.
Take care.
All right, Lauren, give us your take on what it takes to make a woman happy in a long-term relationship.
Well, I'd much rather build a four-lane highway from Japan to Hawaii trying to figure that one out.
We're all still doing it, right?
Exactly. I can talk about the meaning of life, which is 42, rather than how to make a woman happy.
Thanks for all the fish.
But to come back to what you said, like I'm surrounded, and also I would like to come back on Coco. Coco is like the classic trophy mistress. I bang scores of her, and she's not a bad woman, but she's so lost in space. And I know a lot of guys who are married to chicks like that, the gold digger type. And as soon as the guy loses his job, game over. She's like out there she's out there, like she loses a few pounds, she goes and gets some makeup on, and you're next.
Well, that's interesting. It's interesting. You picked up on that vibe, yeah.
And also, I mean, classic, super classic. I know I went through a few of those, and also, what is interesting is like, it's not about the money. Ultimately, it's not about the money, because I know a lot of guys who, you buy her a bag, or you buy her this, you buy her a Porsche, you buy her that, you buy her this, or you take a business class, and it doesn't work. Look at Jeff Bezos. Look at all those super rich guys. They're like, they collect divorces like other people collect stamps.
Yeah. And you know what? It's tough too, because I totally get it. Most guys, because I feel it too. You get that little girl look in your eyes, big puppy dog. You got your ponytail, and she's jumping up and down on her toes in front of you, going like this, right? And then she jumps on you, and you go, "Okay, we'll buy you the car." I get it. It's just like having the kid. It's not an easy thing to do. Where you might have said, "No, we're not doing that. We're doing this. I'm leading this show. We're not putting ourselves at risk. We'll do something else," because they don't want to take the consequence of her bitchiness or not being happy.
And to my network of friends now, I'm going to say something that is utterly controversial, but it echoes what you say. It's like, you know what? At work, you have no problem treating your employees like their employees. Well, treat your wife the same, and see the result. Do that for 3 months and give her KPIs. You have KPIs for everybody, key performance indicators. She fails, hey baby, there's a treadmill with your name on it. And you know what? It started at 7.
So if she does good, does she get extra vitamin D there, Lauren?
Oh yeah. But like the idea of treating, and this is sad to say, but women actually respect that. Because I tried you do this, like make her the center of your world, and I tried the whole laundry list that TJ mentioned, and like no, and I tried that with all my heart, and it didn't work. And I tried the other way around, and actually, there's more respect, there's more communication, there's more honesty. And to echo what Mal said, there's more when I bring myself in integrity. When I have integrity with myself, women respect. Any human being respects integrity.
Yeah, appreciate that, Laurent. Now I'm going to go to Miles, but Miles, before I do, I did notice something I wanted to say about being in Miami for that week and talking to a lot of women. And of course, the women at the CME were just so different because not that the women weren't pleasant. Many of them were very pleasant. And of course, we were on with Fresh and Fit, but I did get a vibe from almost all of them. Age category range from 20s into late 30s. A lot of side chick energy. Did you see that, Miles? I mean, nothing but and probably more than anybody what that is, but I get that too. I'm just in a unique place to kind of see it.
Yeah, that's Miami. That's Miami.
Is it? Okay.
That's Miami, first of all. I mean,
isn't that spreading across the internet on these social media things?
And it is, and because that's the life that they post. The Miami life is what they post. No matter where they are, it's the Miami life. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody's looking for a sugar daddy. Like the hustle is to look as beautiful as I can look and to get some idiot to pay my rent and live in a posh environment. That's the hustle. You understand? So they're willing to spend $20,000 on their body just so they could get on the internet and get a sugar daddy to rinse. I don't know if you guys know what the word rinsing means, but it literally means to make a connection with a rich man online and tell him, hey, I was at the mall the other day and I saw these shoes that I really like. And then he sends the money to them and they buy the shoes and they send him a picture of them trying on the shoes and buying the shoes. And for whatever reason, the man feels satisfied. That's the hustle. It's called rinsing.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It definitely is.
That's the Miami lifestyle. But what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
it does. All of it. Look, let me tell you something. Is a great percentage of all of those high-rise condo apartments that are being paid by men who don't even live in the United States. It's crazy. But but anyway,
Speak your mind, brother. That's why you're here.
Yes. Yep. As far as your list, I want to talk about sex as an analogy to the fact that women, they are comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And even crave it at times.
This is, guys want to talk about female nature, then please take note to this. Women are comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'm going to use the analogy of sex. Now think about this. You take your penis and you penetrate, and then you insert, you go in and you fill the space of the vagina. Right? You fill the space of the vagina. And then what do? You pull it back out and create a vacuum. And then you push again. You fill the space, you fill the walls, and she feels the shape of your phallus. And you pull it back out and create another vacuum. Sure. Sometimes if you pull it out far enough and you push it back in, you hear the fart because there's too much space in the vacuum. Right? But all through that, you find the woman is experiencing pleasure because she is feeling you. She's feeling you fill her up and then pull away. Now, this is what happens in life. When a man is following his dreams, when a man is leveling up to his Super Saiyan levels, when a man is being the best version of himself, continuing on his path to be the best version of himself, what happens is that there are times when you can spend time with her, show her how much you love her, and you can fill her up. But when I get busy pursuing my dreams and looking for the next thing, and I'm doing my YouTube live, and I gotta write a new program for my bad boy membership, and I got all these things to do, that's me pulling away and creating the vacuum. And then she wants me. How many? I'm sure all of you guys have heard this. When you pull out, and she's like, "Oh my God, put it back in." Do you understand? Yep. This is the wrong way is like when you guys said, you try wholeheartedly to keep filling her up and filling her up and filling her up. You're paying attention to her. You're taking her out. Hey, honey, what's the matter? Is there anything I can do to make your life better? And blah, blah. Forget about what my business and forget about all this. It's all about you, baby. And you're trying to. How is sex gonna work if you're constantly pushing? Sex don't work so much. You have to push, fill her up, and then pull out and create a vacuum. And it's that back and forth. It's the up and down. It's the nature of a woman's emotional rhythm that you need, that your masculine path. It starts to simulate it in the relationship with her. So she loves when she sees you, and then she misses you when she doesn't. But at the same time, she knows it's not just because you're just gone to be gone. No, you're gone because you are doing something to elevate yourself. Do you understand? And that's the sex of it all. That's the pain and pleasure of it all that allows the woman to see you in that light where she can focus on you because she knows that you're a man that knows how to create a sexual situation in all aspects of your life and your relationship with her. You see what I'm saying? So women are comfortable being uncomfortable. That's why they moan during sex.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. In fact, I love the way you think so much. On the very next part of my list, it says, play with your woman physically and mentally, tease her, use push, pull, and complimentary techniques. These are intended to arouse without emotional commitment. And then flirt with her always. Always flirt. Right to the edge. That's what you want to do. It's exactly what you just stated in a different fashion. It's beautiful the way you put it, though, with that fill a vacuum. And they're really meant to be attracted that way. That is the glue that will hold them to you.
Exactly.
In a relationship. And it will get you through the hard times when, all the shine is worn off.
Exactly.
The glue that carries you through is that intimacy. Beautiful, Miles. Beautiful. Glad to have you.
Yes,
Glenn, let's get you up on this.
So I want to speak upon the hypergamous nature. See, I think a lot of guys look at the hypergamous nature as an adversary, as something that they have to combat, like it's an enemy. And I'm like, no, it's not an enemy. Like push-ups. All right, push-ups suck. Now, when I was in the military, I used to get in trouble so much that I did push-ups all the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it to where push-ups are not a discipline to me. Push-ups are my friend. So I would do 250 push-ups every night before I hit my rack. So the next day when I got in trouble, these push-ups were nothing. Okay? Same thing with hypergamy. Hypergamy challenges you to become the best version of you.
Facts.
Don't look at a woman's hypergamous nature as the problem. Your failure to push yourself to level up to get that super sane level is the problem. The reason why I bench over 315 now is because I didn't cry over push-ups. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like I didn't sit around the sideline and complain that I had to do push-ups. I use it as a tool to level me up. And too many times guys get caught up in this sense of they want to sit here and complain on the sidelines about a woman's hypergamous nature and not see that it's a tool for them to become the best version of themselves. And I want to piggyback something that Miles said about sex. Sex is beautiful. And if you know how to do it right with your woman, okay, like the fact that she's crawling on your back begging for it because she wants that vacuum filled again because you filled that vacuum so well the first few times, she's that constant desire for her. That's what keeps it going. That's what keeps her emotionally invested in you is because you know how to fill that vacuum and you leave her longing for more. She can't wait to get the next fill. Like for me, full disclosure, my girl's a nymphomaniac, so it's just like horrible all the time. Like people are gonna laugh at me and be like, I complain like, yo, I need a minute. Okay, I need to recover here. But it's that beautiful because it's that push-pull, exactly, that feel. And when you know how to do it, if you're a good man, you know how to engage your woman and you know how, but just by touching her body, you know where to touch, you know how to guide her through it. And if you know how to do it, you make that uncomfortable, comfortable journey beautiful.
Right.
You know, you have to be able to navigate her going from that comfortable to uncomfortable journey. And if you don't know how to do it, that's where you're going to have problems. You know, so that's what I wanted to say to that.
Oh, it's perfect. And I just want to sum that up because this is a tip that everybody has to memorize, and I am going to credit the source. I know a lot of guys said it, but I'm going to credit it to Myron Gaines. Guys, a woman's arousal is like a knob on a dial. 1 to 10, and it slowly has to turn it up. It only moves one speed. Okay. And it can be already set at a level, but you still have to turn it. A man's arousal is a fucking light switch. Once you know that, you're 50% there, gentlemen.
Facts.
Well, all right, Lauren, you had something to add, or we want to, or Tom?
Well, not anything specific to this, but what Lauren was saying maybe a half an hour ago about Lauren, you have to correct me because I'm only familiar with Mahayana and Hinayana Buddhism. But attachment is the source of all pain, and that's what they call the Dharma. Is that right?
Yeah, suffering, not pain.
Suffering, yes. Okay, so and hey, Glenn, nice to meet you. I'm a 28-year guy myself, former Marine Corps, Corpsman, 3rd Marine Division. So in Afghanistan, back in 10-11, some of the guys, and I know this is a Hollywood thing that they'll say in Hollywood movies, but some of the men that I talk to that are very, very experienced in combat, they had that similar description of, look, the people that usually make it out, and not just physically, but also emotionally, psychologically, that make it out best are who already assume they are dead. Now, I know that's a Hollywood line, but that is the ultimate level of detachment. If you enter that realm and you are detached from life itself, that grants you a certain freedom to operate in the moment.
Heavy, very heavy. Beautiful point.
That is very true.
Yep.
Bhutan. I went to Bhutan about 2-3 years ago, and Bhutan is supposedly the happiest country on earth, right? You know why? And actually, I asked Bhutanese, and they confirmed it, because they meditate on death. But death in all its form, like the rotten corpse and all this. So death is not something ugly that the people are pushing away like people do in the West. It's like, yeah, you're going to die. The impermanence of life.
Right. Like we were saying earlier, everything's temporary. Facts.
That's right.
Yep.
Absolutely. I'm gonna that's fantastic. And another thing I'm gonna add to our list. I don't want to get into it too far, but I want to get your guys' thought on this. So one of the things, if you're in a long-term relationship and you want happiness, this is going to be super controversial. I'd love to hear Allie's take on this. But we got Tom here, and I think he's probably got a good guy on this. One of the things you have to watch when you're in a long-term relationship is the friends that she keeps. And here's why. Is she the influencer or is she influenced? I've literally watched divorce travel like a virus through an entire cul-de-sac because one woman was the influencer. And by God, she was miserable. And she literally talked every woman on that cul-de-sac in the course of 18 months into being just as miserable as her. And I know where they all are today. It's not a good sight. So what I would say to that is you must make the effort to be social and find couple friends or friends that are suitable, that have reasonable influence over her. That women are so communitarian that this is really important. They'll deny it to your face. They say, I'm not influenced. I'm my own woman. I'm strong, independent. I've seen a lot of strong, independent women melt to a dominant masculine presence, be it a man or woman, and not even realize they're doing it. So what do you think about that, Tom? Friends, family, that are bad influences.
One of the biggest challenges Allie has is finding female friends with whom she resonates. Because of her views, she can't find them. I mean, probably, I don't want to speak for her, but I would assume that her best friend in the world is Pearl, like female friend.
I would imagine so too.
Wow.
And because she can't find them, I have seen her dissect women out of her life from her high school years over the last year and a half so quickly. So I would say that, yes, that is a big challenge for Allie. And I, as the masculine man, I observe her and ensure that she is not inviting cancerous people into, and I'm going to call it our relationship, because those friends are going to by proxy affect our marriage. So I'm always on the lookout,
That's
like
my
one of
man.
those sentinels in the Matrix Reloaded. It's ready to destroy anything that gets in, because that's how I view it.
No, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear you say that, because I think all of us RP men are really RP aware men are really aware how influence it is. And for a person like me, I mean, in reality, couple friends that are at least kind of leaning in my direction or solidly in that RP area are extremely important, because women are so communitarian. They actually need this to be healthy.
Right.
They need to have some female bounces there. So I'm trying to give you guys, you want them happy? They'll make themselves happy, but they have to have some of those elements that make them feminine women available to them. And with the influence of social media, news media, and they are extremely influenced by their friends. So you would have to really monitor. It sounds horrible, because you might have to find a way to isolate them from the ones that have the heavy, bad influence. She's got a friend that has blue hair, a dyke haircut, and is talking about going to a march, trying to encourage her to hold a sign. You might want to find another friend. And how, as a man, are you going to arrange that?
Question, but how do you do that? Like, do you tell her, like, get rid of her? Because
no, you know what? Let me answer that.
Yeah, please do, Glenn.
Because we've come across that. Like, me and my girl have come across that. Like, we're in the industry, we're in the film industry, and so we come a lot of wokies. There's a lot of wokies out there. All right,
wokies.
And me and my girl will be sitting there, and we'll be talking, and a girl walk by, blue hair, everything like that, and I'm like, no. Just I get disgusted. And she, not saying she feeds off of me, but she starts measuring these women up according to the standard that I have for her. And when she does that, and I don't think she does that subconsciously or consciously, but she does it. She be criticizing other women now more than I do.
It's called mirroring. And once that happens, you got it going on. You got frame.
Yeah. And it's like, when I see that, so when we get together with friends, we actually size them both up. We size the couple up as if, do we even want to associate with these people? And it's like, if the woman seems to be very manipulative or controlling, she will spot it out and say something to me before I do half the time. And it's not because like I trained her, it's that she sees what I'm talking about in this space. And then she also has a good mother that is an old-fashioned woman that also mirrors that image. Her mother is a very good, role model for her. So she mirrors her in that image and is like, oh, my mom wouldn't even talk to this person, or this would be a problem. And she spots the problem out more of the times than I do. I'll keep quiet because I don't really want to say anything about nobody like that out loud. But like, she'd be like, do you see her? Why is that whore wearing that clothes? Why would she walk out looking like that with her man like there?
Right.
Like, my girl says it half the time more than I do. And it's because, again, like Thor said, she's mirroring that standard that I have for her. And she's like, I don't want anybody else in my life that doesn't meet the same standard that I have to uphold. And I think that's beautiful.
Now, realize that what we're talking about here is very close friends. I have friendly acquaintances that are quite social. We see them here and there, but they're at arm's length. We'll do anything for them, help them, but they are not in the inner circle. That's what we're talking about, Glenn. Right?
Yeah, but that's even the same thing. Like, even the people that we actually associate with, like if we go out and we hang out with, she's very critical of the women more than I am critical of them. And it's interesting. We have probably one or two couples that we're really tight with. One of them is my cousin and his wife. And then another one is another older couple that we know from the industry that are also very much the same way. Guys, former Marine as TJ. And so the way that they line up, it's just very complementary to the way we line up. And it's interesting that she seeks that out now. It's not like she's just seeking out random people. She seeks people that are going to be the right fit for us.
Right.
And it's almost like she's protecting the relationship just as much as I'm protecting the relationship by doing so.
Exactly. I just want to add real quick that yes, there are times where you have to check your woman. So there's going to be times where you're going to have to monitor and check who she associates with or who she's, because sometimes she'll have conversations and she'll bring ideas into the conversation and you can almost tell and pinpoint, oh, you've been talking to such and such. And then that's when you check her like, listen, understand this, and this, and don't let such and such penetrate your mind that much, because you understand what we have over here, and and the direction that we're going in, because I chose that direction and you're coming with me. And with that being said, it is the consistency and integrity of your character that will help to keep her in line. You understand? It's the consistency and integrity of your character that will help for her to, like you said, Glenn, she'll even start to notice things before you even open your mouth. You understand? And that consistency, and Glenn, you said you didn't train her, but I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, ultimately you have. And it's not training like,
conditioning.
Exactly. It's training based on the consistency. Like, for example, have you ever noticed a woman to start to say things that you say out of habit?
Yep.
And do things that you do out of habit? It's because there's a part of them that admires you. And like you said, Glenn, that standard, the consistency is what develops the standard over time. And they start to trust in that standard. So they start to see the value in it, and they ultimately want to preserve it. So they start to see the people who are not conducive to that standard, and they're already keeping them at arm's length. So if you do your job correctly, as far as the consistency of your character, there may not be much monitoring and checking that you may have to do. So, after all, it still comes back on you, the man.
No, absolutely. That's absolutely facts. 100%.
Man, this has been fire, guys. It's been fire. Look at this. Guys are really liking this. It's fantastic. I love having these conversations because
definitely
it's nice to get it off your chest and to know that other guys are definitely looking. We would like our girlfriends, our wives, our mistresses to all be happy. We would love to. The reality is we can't make them happy, but we can provide the framing so that they can create that happiness for themselves. They can mirror our happiness.
Right.
Really, isn't that it though? I mean, when we're on mission, that's why I was open saying I'm living the dream. Why? Because when I'm living my dream, things are clicking, even if they're not clicking. Because nightmares are dreams too, and they don't last.
Right.
So we're always living the dream. And having that kind of projection in your relationships is an amazing thing. I mean, these women, they're so good at subcommunication. They know immediately when you come home and what's wrong. You wear it, you exude it, right? So you have to take a moment and put on your best face. It's one of the reasons when I put my dog down, I did it by myself. I know what it would do to her to take her and have her do that. She would see me. She knows how I feel about it. And I just, in her condition, I wanted to be the rock. So she followed right along with it. Thank God. I know she feels bad, but I wouldn't put any of that burden upon her of easing my emotion. I don't want her to do any of that. I don't need her to do that. That's my burden.
And the way things are, like military wise, here's a perfect example. Like, you don't ever hear the general bitch to the private about general problems.
Right.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Griping goes up, never comes down. And you always have to lead with that intention. Like, you could be going through something. Not saying you have to bottle up your emotions, but you go to somebody else, not your girl, and to dump that load down to. You download it to another guy, somebody that you are that iron sharpening iron with, somebody that you have an accountability with, and so no, yeah, Thor, I'm sorry you lost your dog. I'm really sorry.
Hey, you know what? She had a great life, brother, and I'll have a good war dog in Valhalla.
There you go.
No doubt about it.
Oh, but I heard you connected with Sabo. Side note.
Oh yeah, he's a good kid, man. He's full of energy. Definitely, yeah. I like that kid. I guess he's gonna come out here. When he does, we're all gonna get together. He seems to want me to be in his shows. So
I was talking to him about you and him. I was like, hey, we got to get Thor on the Sabo.
Also, I wanted to put the link from the pictures from the CME into the chat. So I'm gonna put the link from the pictures in the CME in the chat, guys. So you guys can see all the pictures from the CME.
Can you do that? I don't know how to make you a mod.
No, I think I could do it from just regular from YouTube.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah, I should be able to.
No, just go ahead and comment it. I got comments on hold though right now. If not, send it to me privately on Instagram, and then I'll do it because I have Instagram open.
Cool.
In fact, do that just in case I don't see it.
Okay.
And Thor, just so you know, I already challenged Paul to a bench press competition, so I'm extending that challenge to you as well.
Okay, well, I'm going to say this then. This is really funny because I got to tell you, why would you do such a lose-lose situation? It's like fighting. Like I've been challenged to fight. I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, so here's the deal. I'm almost 60, right? So if here's why it's such a lose-lose for you and win-win for me. Because if I beat you, you got your ass handed to you by an old man.
But that won't happen.
If you win, all you did was beat an old man.
Hey, you know what? My old man is tough as rocks. So don't
make excuses. Don't make excuses. I'm
saying I know my old man is tough as rocks. Okay, he's 60-something years old. We played tackle football during Thanksgiving, and he was still out there tackling young people. So you know what? Hey, you're a good adversary.
I don't play fair though.
Yeah, but Thor strikes me as the kind of man that he's like, challenge accepted, and then
exactly.
Testosterone sippinate. He's gonna get D-ball, HGH.
Such a thing.
No, but it's
Thor
a
is
good
the god
thing.
amongst men naturally.
But you know what? It's a good thing. Like, it's another way to challenge each other. Like, men, that's one thing about the movie Top Gun. I know we're on a tangent here. That was highlighted in the movie was that they would constantly challenge each other. The guys, the lead alphas in the movie, they were constantly on each other's ass and pushing each other to become better. And we talk about all these things. We highlight how to have game and to become better and how to get your money right and get better. And we talk about fitness, but we don't ever really challenge each other in this space. Like, and I'm doing it as a friendly challenge. Like, whoever wants a bench press, I'll bench press me. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hey man, that could be a part of the next CME or something like that. We could have a whole, convention of just challenges, just to sharpen our skills and, iron sharpen iron. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's see how many floors we can run through, Glenn.
What's that? What's that?
Miles got it. Let's see how many floors we can run through, huh?
And Glenn, I just wanted to say that everything that you just described, the APA, the American Psychological Association, would say are now mental health disorders.
Oh shit!
You know what? I have
and all that.
It's fine, because the people that wrote the APA all have a horrible mental health disorder. So you can't take any advice from some people that are just as crazy, right?
Hey guys, I just posted in the chat all the photos. I mean, Miles was an animal with the photography. I've seen some of his work. I can't wait to dig in there myself because I'm sure he's got a couple bad profiles of me with my gut hanging.
Nah, you're good, bro. I got you. I got
there with some Photoshop now.
Yeah.
I can know some Photoshop and some test stipulate and fix them.
Hey TJ, man, I got you in there too, bro. I got you in there too.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Excellent.
Yeah, but guys, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, man. I appreciate you having me, Thor.
We're gonna wrap up right now.
Okay,
let's do the round table, guys, and we'll wrap this up, and I'll close it with the ending. So let's go ahead and let's start with Laurent. We'll end with Miles, of course, and then I'll make my final comment.
All
right. So I have nothing to sell you. So that's it. I try to get onto the slated because Glenn is putting out a documentary, he's putting out a movie. He sent me the link, so support Glenn, support everybody here. It's an honor and a privilege. And TJ, like the video with Coco and all this. This is actually the first, the Coco and your wife and Pearl. This is the first time I ever left a comment, or second time I ever left a comment on YouTube. And I left a my handle is LB7189. 1789, like as the French Revolution. And so, gentlemen, it's a pleasure being here. So thank you very much for welcoming aboard your ship.
Tell your book. Tell us about your book. Give us the title and where we can find it.
Yeah, I published a book, Algorithmic Short Selling with Python. So this is about short selling, and if you're in the business of like managing money, or if you're in the alternative, it's not whether you should read this book, is can you afford not to read this book?
Okay, nice.
So thank you very much, gentlemen. It's a pleasure and an honor being aboard this ship. Thank you.
Thank you. TJ, Tom, thank you so much for joining here. I hope you can make it semi-regular or even regularly. We love your input, brother. Say hi to Alex for me. What do you got?
I sure will. So, unlike Laurent, I am selling you something. I'm selling you self-purpose and self-discipline, and get those things and purchase it through discipline, effort, and focus. Because I don't have books. I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have social media. I only know that it works after 28 years of leading men in the military. So that's my sell. And I would just say, if you want to check out my wife's channel, it is at Real Femme Sapien. People ask, what does that mean? Well, it's a real female sapien. And that's how she came up with it, because she has her degree in anthropology. So check out her channel at Real Femme Sapien. And thank you for having me.
I'm going to remind all the panel members, DM me with your link information so they can post it every time you guys show up. It'll be in the notes every time. So DM that to me, exactly what context you want, and we'll make sure that wherever viewers can always access that information. Glenn.
Yes, sir. As Laurent already said, I have a movie that we're in the works of promoting and raising funds for called Mind Dates. I'm not selling you anything, but I'm telling you, if you want to get on board and help fundraise this project, this is a red pill themed comedy. All right. It's about dating apps and dating and everything that all you guys talk about. We're going to talk about it in the movie. We're going to talk about the betas. We're going to talk about the alphas. We're going to talk about the guys that think that they know they got game and they don't got game. We're going to talk about frame. We talk about everything. I mean, it's a great comedy. We're working on that. We're in the final draft right now. You also can find me here on YouTube. I do have a channel here. I've been actually doing some more content lately. With some doing some panels and stuff. Thor's been busy, so I haven't been able to send him a link yet because I know he was in Miami. But I will have him on, and all you the gentlemen are more than welcome to hop on. But yeah, thank you, Thor, as always. Always love being on here with these panels with these great guys. It's really love this iron sharpening iron that we have here. It's something that's rare, something that men need. And all the guys in the chat room, just this is what we need as men. We need spaces like this. So thank you, Thor, for all your hard work and always opening this invitation for this conversation.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
Thor, man, it was awesome meeting you at the CME, and I'm glad to be here. Glad for I appreciate you having me here. Thank you, to all you gentlemen, Laurent, TJ, Glenn. I really appreciate you guys. Man, I am selling you something as well. I have this thing called the Bad Boy Membership. You can go to badboymembership.com. And what we have is 45 to 90 minute step-by-step programs that teach you about different aspects of dating. It's over 30 years of experiences, failures and successes, but 30 years of real life experiences on the best practices on how to date, how to online date, how to talk to women, how to deal with women, how to vet women for relationships, how to vet women for sex, how to vet women for whatever, but how to vet women to be a benefit in your life. And more importantly, to find the best version of yourself as a man. So go to badboymembership.com and you guys can check me out there. Also, I'm on Instagram, Miles in the Game, and also have a YouTube channel. Just type in Miles Cunningham and I'll come right up. And I really appreciate you guys. Once again, as men, we really got to, find ways to be the best version of ourselves, because that's the only true way to make these women happy.
Oh, yeah.
Booyah, America.
2.0 RP Thor. And I'm selling you something too, the dream. I want you to live the damn dream, because the rising tide lifts all boats. And I want you all out there to be that tide. Join me at becomedurable.com. You can find my Mastery of Self video lecture series there. It's an 8-part series. 4 parts are posted. Go check it out. And guys, really appreciate you coming on here. And all the chat, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Help us grow. We've grown pretty rapidly in the last few weeks. Every time we do a show, let's get it on. So guys, until next time, the Elders Council. Skull.